Are we on? Live?
Let me just, it says we're live, so go ahead.
Okay. I'd like to call the DDA board meeting to order, please. And I have the roll call. Virgil, Linda Allen. All right, okay. And I need a motion to approve the agenda, please.
Motion so moved. Second.
Okay. All right, all in favor, signify by aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. We have our treasurer today, Linda Allen. Would you like to give us a little bit of an update, please?
Our treasury report is as follow. The statement from April 1st to April 30th, the balance was $2,285.29. The current balance is still $2,285.29. I also did a balance sheet from last year to date for the board, and I'll give that to Rich as to where we were last year and to where we are currently. That's all I have for the finance report.
Thank you. Any questions or? No? All right. We don't have public comments on here, but I think this is a good time to ask for public comments. Would you like to address the board?
Because we're on the record now. So, yeah, I did just want to inquire about the Richard Hunt studio. Express my hopes that that can become a real, tourist attraction for this area, for Benton Harbor. And he was a world famous artist. His sculptures are all over Chicago and Evanston. And so I'm just hoping that the Brazil Art Center will, do something great here in Benton Harbor with that studio.
Thank you.
I hope it's well.
Yes. Marketing, promotions, communications.
John, and you want to speak to this? I can just talk about it briefly. I know we tried to have some consistent meetings to do some of the things that we had planned for the communication committee. Some of the things that we've done, we don't necessarily need a meeting to do, and Rich and I have done some of that. We've sent the list out, and Rich has sent a form letter that we would like to send out to each other. So, I mean, to the participants. But that's pretty much what it is. We'll try to set another date where we can have a little more meeting, so we can actually put some plan down in terms of how we want to communicate to the stakeholders. So. But that's pretty much it. We got a working list. There's a donor list that is not added to the list that we have because I didn't want to put those private people that you sent to me on the general list. But those might be people that we want to communicate to as well, in addition to what we have on the list.
Sounds good. Yeah, and then our next meeting is going to be on
29th.
May 29th at 12 o'clock.
That'll be at the Welcome Center.
Yep.
So just, all right, Michigan Main Street's Welcome Center, and I'm adding social district management and maintenance to that committee's charge. As a partner in the social district, I think it's really important that we have an opportunity to monthly kind of sit down and check in about how things are going, if there are questions, concerns, or communications we need to make with the business owners about conditions. We can take that opportunity to do that. So the actual name, as we were as it's written into the ordinance for this particular social district, is the Benton Harbor, Benton Harbor DDA Arts Association partnership. It's a partnership between the Downtown Development Authority and the Benton Harbor Arts Association, along with the business owners. So, moving on with that, just wanted to, on the agenda, you'll see some notes about the costs of the Welcome Center. We have a $65.40 I&M bill that's due on the 23rd. And rent for the next quarter is $600, and that'll be due on the 1st of June, excuse me. So I would like to ask for a motion to pay the bills, please.
What is the total of the bills again?
$665.40.
That's rent
And
and
that's
I&M.
rent and utility? Both?
1 month utilities, is that?
1 month's utilities, 3 months rent.
Okay. Well, I'll make a motion to pay it, most certainly. If we want to continue to be there.
Maybe support?
Support.
Okay. Any more discussion or questions?
Just a discussion topic, insurance related to that location?
We haven't gotten an answer yet.
Okay.
We're awaiting Mr. Little's
That's enough.
response.
Only other discussion would be the, like, rent we're just paying from our balance,
Right.
correct?
Yep.
From our bank?
Yep.
So right now, we don't have a sustainable way to maintain paying rent. Unless
We don't have
bring
an
in
income.
Income, right?
Well, we'll never probably have an income, but yeah, that money is grants or donations, and that's probably how we'll be living all along on that. So we're,
If we secured the TIF, we would have some sort of income,
well, yes.
if we secured it.
If we secure it,
And that's part of what our planning is,
yes.
our goal is. Okay.
But as far as the near-term planning, I think we're kind of, when we get to the end of this agenda, you'll see that we do need to be thinking about what our next fundraising efforts are going to be.
Yeah, I wonder if, like, and we can talk more about it, but even just a specific event to even
Right.
pay specifically for the Welcome Center rent and bills might be a
Intentional
good
fundraising.
activity to think about or start planning.
Part of this communication thing should be us looking to solicit some help and support
Right.
for the things that we do as an authority. So, I mean, yeah.
And we
So
do- we do
shouldn't
have,
be shy about asking for dollars.
no, and we do have continuing support from the Tourist Council.
Yeah.
So basically that does pay for most of the rent every year. Or actually probably all the rent in the last 2 years that we've been doing it. So we have not received any funds from them since last fall, which we received a donation for holiday lights. So I will be meeting with them, I think it's like the 4th of June or thereabouts. And that's one of the topics that will come up. I did mention on the agenda there in the notes that we have a bunch of new materials that we received from them. I went and picked up all the latest guides and some new guides that we've never had before. So there's a lot of information that is useful for anybody, whether they're living here or a visitor. Some great things to do as well. We have a question? Sure. Yes, it's a bed tax, and there's a CVB that collects it, and the Tourist Council is funded that way. And they have, since we decided we were going to do the Welcome Center, been supporters of that project. They also have supported our Holiday Lights celebration every year since I've been involved with it, which is, I think, 2016. So they're great partners. No, we just, well, that was the last time we received a check from them. We basically asked them for money as we needed, or for a particular event like Holiday Lights, we asked them. When we ask everyone else to make a donation, we ask them as well. But that's how we received it. We just have to, right, ask them and send an invoice. We've tried to work out an annual amount. It didn't fit in their budget. We were aiming for $3,000 a year, but I hope we can get to that point as a regular thing to count on in the coming year. Yeah, it's not unreasonable. Yes, I think so. And we're very happy to have the support we do have. So I guess we have a motion on the floor, and we lost Linda.
Well, sure, it's a bathroom break, but she'll probably be right back.
So we can't move forward on that motion until Linda comes back.
Shift to topic and then come back.
Yeah, well, since we're on that topic of money, we did receive, well, the city did receive somehow a $10,000 check on our behalf from I&M for sponsorship. And it came a month ago, but we have not yet received our funds. I've asked a couple of times, so I'm not sure what happened to the check, but I do know from the donor that it cleared. So the city has deposited the funds in some account. It's for sponsorship, sponsoring the Downtown Development Authority.
Why have we not figured out yet how to separate money that is coming from us to us, opposed to going into some general city fund or something? It doesn't make sense that we would continue. We've already experienced this once, so why are we continuing to experience the same thing with money that's coming to us? It's just a question. It's just, yeah.
There is an explanation, which is that the people who open the mail, when they see mail that looks like a check, they open the mail. And it's their habit to process the checks. They don't always read them.
Do they do that with all city committees? I mean, do all city functions that happen? I mean, we're the DDA. So
There
we,
have been other occasions where deposits, it's happened before to others.
to
And
others.
it's happened a number of times to us. I have not really had a full explanation other than what I just described to you as the process. They don't want the checks laying around, and that makes sense. You know, somebody
Who do they
needs.
come to? The clerk?
No, they do not. They come to
The city manager's office?
the Water Payment Center, to the Finance Department. All mail goes to
All
the
mail goes to
Finance,
finance.
and they sort it.
And they sort it.
Right.
So do they need a better explanation as to what their sorting is? I mean, is that where we start in order to get it clear about where the money goes?
Honestly, I can't answer that question. I think that's something that we'll need to talk about with Mr. Little when we see him again. I have inquired with them.
We need to have that conversation sooner than later. If we're talking about generating money coming to us and then it comes to us and we not know how to find it.
No argument for me on that. Especially
I know
since
you do, Rich.
I'm asking.
I'm just being frustrated with your old frustrations.
It's,
Yeah. 'Cause I know you do.
yeah. And since I'm usually the person who asks for it, and then people ask me what we're doing with it, it's nice to know what's what. But I do have the check number, I do know what the amount was, and I do know when it was cashed. and that it's been deposited. So, so we have that information to try to track it down. Just don't have an answer as of yet. And we,
Not planning to be used to clean, to cut the cemetery, or no kidding?
you do remember,
different-
that-
you're
you
different
do
than we-
remember, we're broadcasting to the universe.
Well, okay. Well,
You may be developing a fan base.
I'm sorry, universe.
You may be,
Sorry, Rich, we know who the check was from.
yes.
Remember all that stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a sponsorship from INM Electric
Oh,
Company.
sorry, it was INM. Yep.
Right. And part of that money, we are anticipating to cover the money that was pledged and not remitted to us from Novo. So we're trying to fill in the gap. And because of the conditions of this particular sponsorship, we have the ability to apply the money in the way we need to cover the expenses with Youth Build, which are still not paid. So we owe them $3,700 for the 23-24 work, and then the money that remains will be, the $5,000 will be applied to 24-25 Holiday Lights celebration, and possibly the rest of it. But we have options for how we spend it. It's not restricted, because it wasn't a grant, and it's not restricted. It's just simply a sponsorship. So we're fortunate that way. We just need to get the money in our bank accounts so we can pay our bills.
Is there a way, like, how money gets donated, is there a better way we can do that where it's clear, like, someone, like, the president, so Rich, like your name, the president of the DDA would be on the letter, like, how do we set it up so next time we don't get just a random check sent to the city and the same thing happens again?
I've
know.
attempted to do that. I have not seen what was on this particular envelope because I haven't seen it. But I do know that I've had those conversations with donors because this is probably the fourth or fifth time this has happened. And with multiple donors, so I'm very careful about how the letters are marked to make sure that they actually come to the DDA. I don't know what more to do with,
There's something happening with the cities receiving, and whoever that is, that they see all money coming in as going into a general fund opposed to specific areas. I mean, it's not happening it's just not happening with us.
Yeah, I think it's I know we're all speaking to the choir here, but when we were just talking about, we're living paycheck to paycheck on our rent at the Welcome Center. We have to go get donations for activities and projects, find sponsorships. We don't have a TIF plan set up. And so when we finally do get a donation and it's on the city's end to properly sort it and make sure it goes to the right place, that's disappointing that we can't, have the money readily available. If we're behind on making payments to Youth Build and we've got money available, but the city has deposited into their own bank. And so that just seems like a clear,
We're
oversight.
not even clear as to where it was
It's not
deposited.
it's not an oversight, I just think it's a lack of negligent neglect from them, not actually paying attention and being on top of knowing that it doesn't belong to them. So it has to be a chain of command to where someone is actually separating those funds. So we're like a baby trying to find a bottle, waiting for them to give us something that's already ours. It's a broken system, and Rich has been fighting the battle for years, and it's ridiculous.
I assume that part of your procedure is not only the envelope, but maybe a memo note about the intended recipient of the funds? Standard procedure, really, for
checks have
donors?
been made to the Downtown Development Authority, or they're marked, if they're not made, if they're not specifically, because we use the same tax ID number.
Right.
if they are not specifically written to the DDA, the DDA is on the check, so that it's, and what it's for. So in every case where the checks have been misdeposited, those checks were marked clearly for the Downtown Development Authority with, most of them have been Holiday Lights. So they're marked HLC on them, and marked Downtown Development Authority. So, you know, other than actually getting there on mail day, I don't, you know, I ask when people are sending them, so I know how to look out for them. And then I check with them to make sure that they've actually sent them and on what date. And I ask them for the check number, because as I said, this is probably the 5th time. So I know that in order to track this money down, I need to have information about how it came here to begin with.
Since we're all here to get better, and this has happened multiple times, not just to us, but others in the pay receive department, can we ask for the city's procedure on their check handling?
That's where we need to start.
And
I mean, we need
if
to get to that
that procedure exists,
source
you know, it's like have a procedure, follow the procedure, fail, improve. We've been in this rut.
Yeah, whoever that
too
is
long.
that's sorting, that's misdirecting, the.
Buck
the
stops
donations,
somewhere, and it needs to stop where
They
it
need
needs
to be
go.
talked to some kind of way. I mean, they need to be part of this conversation that we're having. And I don't know who takes us there, whether it's the city manager or whom, but
Well-
that's where we need to have the conversation.
Would you be, since we have our treasurer with us today, would you be willing to take that piece on? So that's not just me. I'm here if you need me, but maybe a different voice.
Banker to banker.
And, right, banker to banker. Since you understand,
Stop the check. Linda,
Hold on.
put a hold on it.
fortunately, you can't do that now that it's, with the last one from them, the check I got deposited, they didn't know one way or another what happened to it. I&M didn't know what happened to it. They tried to put a stop on the check, and the check had already been cashed. They reissued a second check. That check also disappeared.
So they gave it to us twice.
Right, so we ended up with $10,000. We were only supposed to have 5. But they agreed to just, when we finally tracked it all down, which took the accounting department at I&M as well as me,
Who wants to donate to us if the money that they give it to us is getting lost? I mean,
well, it
that's-
doesn't,
That's gonna be
it
an
is
issue.
not lost. Let's just put an end to that.
Oh, it is
not-
lost.
No, it is not. No, it is not lost.
okay.
We know where it is, we know what it is, and we have the means of tracking it down. We have not lost 1 penny of anybody's money.
If we,
It
if
goes
we,
where they promise, where we promise to put it, and that is the one thing that I will say I am adamant about. The day that that doesn't happen, I'm done. And
what is
so
that?
The money's not going where
the
it
money
should.
goes where it's supposed to go. If we ask for it, and we don't ask randomly for money, we ask for a purpose. We use the money for the purpose it's given to us for. And if this accounting issue is an issue, it's a temporary issue that we will correct. Especially, I want every donor who hears this recording to know that that money is where you wanted it to go. That's serious business for us as we move forward.
I don't argue it with you.
No, I'm speaking to the audience at home. I want you to know that be confident that we, all of us in this room today, are charged with keeping track of these things, and we do the best we can, and we have not lost a penny yet.
Did I hear you ask Linda to take
So,
that up
so
with the
Linda, will
city?
you,
I will get in contact with who's ever over the receiving end of checks.
I make a motion.
okay, well, we haven't finished our motion to pay the bills, so we need to finish that. So all in favor signify by aye?
Aye.
Okay. Any
Waiting on
opposed?
Linda to return to finish that motion?
Yes.
Yeah. So, any opposed? No? Okay, motion carries. So I guess we combined a couple of things, so now we know what we're gonna do about that. Downtown Design Committee. Richard, do you want to talk a little bit more about what we were talking about last month, and then also what you found out?
Design Committee. We pursued banners, we got quotes. The quotes were around $3,000, kind of because the quantity is lower quantity, price goes up. Basically, 60 units is a good economical number. You pay for 60, even you get 30. So if we pursue banners, volume is a beneficial way to go. It seems that time has sort of run, well, we need to have a source of funding to pay for banners if we pursue that topic. We're talking about money so far, most of the meeting. We have none. So I promote we continue to think about concepts for banners, maybe messages, logos, whatever, and keep that in mind for the future when we start to be able to identify funds to accomplish that.
So
Yeah,
we did talk by text about the idea of working with the communications committee, since we have our branding set up as Benton Harbor Now, perhaps coming up with some options for something that could be more of a durable thing that we use as a more or less everyday banner, just to get some color up and some welcome. At least, trying to figure out what it could look like could help us get it funded through donations.
This would be something we'd put on the website.
No,
These are light pole banners,
right, so once.
2-by-4 foot units where we could have more than 60 of them if we used all the locations that are available to us.
And 3,000 is not out of, the realm of the possible, especially in light of the fact that we're doing this social district now. It seems like maybe that would be something that, could be part of what the banners are, especially from 8th Street to 4th Street and on Main and Water and Territorial. Those banners could all read something about the social district. And perhaps we can solicit funds from the people who will benefit directly economically from that.
The 60 unit price was 60 unique banners, which is kind of a big deal. Everyone unique. I mean, digitizing these days, they can do that. So maybe we discuss with the Arts Association a partnership on banners, and maybe something would be possible then. Design needs to be underway before we start to print and pay for things.
So, John, is that something you could help us coordinate, you think?
And I don't know if we mentioned it before, but if we can have, I don't know how many business owners we have through this corridor here. If we can have a meeting with them and have them to buy in that each business will own their own pole and design their own banner.
I think
That
we
would
need,
work.
I don't think we need, what the idea of the unique banners was that we would put something on that would be coordinated throughout. So, and
A theme of some sort.
so that the branding, first of all, we're branding downtown. So we need a consistent statement about, what downtown is. And then beyond that, because they're unique banners, we could potentially put their names on the
Right,
banners.
something to make them be a stakeholder is what I'm saying.
Right.
Buy in.
Right. So that, I think, could get to your point of, pay for your own banner, or, and then we do run into the issue of what do we do when people don't pay for their own banner? So perhaps to start with, we do the social district people who have a vested interest in promoting the social district as well as themselves. And when you divide out however many, we don't know for sure how many that would be from 4th to 8th Street, but if it's 40 or something like that, and you divide it out by 5, 6 businesses, it's not a lot.
If we, the list that you're generating of occupants of the district, if a letter could go out, if we have a letter to write with the concept of banners and with the opportunity to get a name on if a contribution is made, maybe we could generate some funds. That in addition with the social district energy and potential funding, and maybe we could accomplish something this year.
Yeah.
But we need to put that concept down on paper, send it out to your list, and see what happens.
Well, I think the strategy that we're talking about in that committee is to actually, go out and meet with people in person.
Face to face?
And that we're going to leverage the list in that way. So that's one thing we can do along with the letter of introduction to the DDA at that point, and then for people we can't actually get to,
Specific to the banners.
we can do both. So we can make our introduction, leave them with something about the banners, and then they can get back to us about that. So,
We could solicit for volunteer gardeners also.
yeah,
the thing out right
absolutely.
away.
Our needs are many.
Yeah, so so the letter of introduction actually does say what types of projects we take on and how we're formed and.
Who we are, what we're trying to do.
Right, and so it lists the committees so that people who are interested in becoming active could take a seat on one of our committees if they choose.
Or a donation to any one of those specific things.
Right, right. So the idea is first that we give them the general information, make contact and have a conversation with people, and then we move from that to specific requests. So, but I think to get something up this year, we do need to get some sort of prototype designed on paper, at least a sketch, and then take that along with the dimensions and the price to people to say, okay, this is what we're talking about. So if they have something specific to react to. But we can do that in that committee and then bring it back. Perhaps, could we do that before the next meeting?
29 is your next
It's on
meeting?
the 29th.
Our next meeting of the
Before our next meeting.
DDA board meeting, right, which is the 19th, excuse me. Oops, where is that? It is, yes, 19th of June.
Well, you're talking about creating a banner prototype.
Creating on paper just a sketch with the dimensions, some sort of mock-up of the logo, our logo on it for Benton Harbor Now, and then some kind of artwork.
Is there some previous banners that we have to go on? Some that has been done before?
Not of the type that we're plump.
Yeah,
Yeah, sure.
yeah. I mean, we've got years of banners that we produced for downtown. You can even take a picture of, we've got one in the theater we can take a picture of. So that just takes a few minutes. Good morning. No, actually, unfortunately, when you see this back, you'll hear there was quite a bit of discussion about it. I haven't heard of it from anyone. Thank you. Okay, well, progress. So we'll meet on the 29th. We can have something, we can sketch it up then if we need to. Does that sound all right, John?
Yeah, we're thinking, the banner, these are light pole banners,
Yeah.
and we would want to we just need to decide what we're going to put on the banner.
So our logo,
Okay,
Then Harper
their
Mountain.
name somewhere,
okay,
and then something, probably, let's start with the social district, because those banners could go up between, other banners. So if we've got banners for Holiday or banners for the project that we're talking about with the Browns, which is to try to acknowledge local people. We can trade them out and put up the topical banners as we raise the money and design those. So we've all.
The banners won't be designed to advertise a specific business, but to
They'll have their
advertise-
name on them.
Yeah, their name on it.
As a sponsor,
They sponsor
Yeah.
a banner.
It's more
small print at the
focused
bottom.
on us as an organization, right? For the DDA.
Well, we want our branding on it. If we're going to work with the Arts Association, we'll need that. And then there is specific artwork that was produced for the social district, which is pretty simple and straightforward. So we can make use of that. I don't know if I have it with me right now, but I can have it for our next meeting of the committee.
What's the point, what's the goal of the banners? Is it,
Add color to make our city more interesting, to make it, people see that we're trying.
there's something going on, like, 'cause I typically look at the banners, like when you're driving through an area, like, there's something happening right now, like
Right.
what is? maybe
So,
it's an
social
event or a
district
month.
social district is what we're trying to promote as a new thing, and,
That might be what we're promoting. on
stop,
this.
linger, social,
Interest.
you know.
Sure. Oh, that's a good play there, where it's almost like trying to catch someone's eye to like stop in somewhere, take a look, socialize, like hang out, like that kind of idea. I like that.
Yeah, so if we can put that together, then we can bring it back for the meeting in June, and then go out with it as soon as we've approved it here. And I mean, who knows, there may be someone who'll just write the check for 3,000 and we'll be done with it. It's not that unreasonable to think.
Check writing is the easiest part. Check
Yes.
delivering is difficult, and all that
Check
stuff.
cashing is the hard part.
Right,
Well, in those cases, I hope maybe they'll just hand us the check.
all that stuff.
But anyway, so sounds like good progress there. We can move forward on. Committee event. I did put down something in here about the events. It's just more or less a placeholder right now, but we're, in the same line, I mentioned that we're still awaiting a response from Representative Andrews, who said he was going to find us the money to help us get the TIF plan organized, so that we can move forward and work with the city commission and the planning commission to get the TIF in place. So as soon as we hear from him, we'll try to move forward and bring that back to everyone here.
You look cute.
I did mention this events. Where is that? I guess I've got two mentions of events. So let's get planning commission update. Just wanted to give you a planning commission update. Lee isn't here, but the plaza was presented to the planning commission. There wasn't an opportunity really for input. We weren't presented with a site plan. The site plan is not finalized, but it is something that's in the works, it seems. Yarborough Park was also presented to the Benton Harbor Planning Commission at the last meeting. There was a discussion of improvements that Whirlpool is paying for to Yarborough Park. They're building restrooms and a shelter along with it, which should be really a nice addition to the park. It will be accessible from the street and up near the street, so people walking on trails or walking along the river will be able to access it easily. People who have disabilities will have easy access to it as well. And it'll be great for events. So
Is that like a pavilion, Rich, you're saying? Maybe
Um,
a pavilion, when you say shelter?
well, yeah, there'll be like a picnic shelter kind of covered area at one end of it. That too, the design is not completely finalized, and we did not see a final site plan. They're trying to figure out where the utilities are on that site, because there are buried sewer lines, the major sewer lines that carry water across the river to the plant, sewer plant, and water lines and stuff there that have to be sorted out before they know exactly how they're gonna put the building.
Wasn't that a water, didn't they used to have a water issue down there at that part? Where it retained water at one time, or did
There are
they
a
fix
number of
that?
things like that down there. And that, yes, there are projects underway to deal with the
Okay.
flooding issues.
Okay.
That's a separate thing that we have not seen anything about yet. Mr. Little hopefully will come back and tell us what's happening with the check.
We don't have, we should
And an update.
revisiting that insurance issue as we get down to the State Theater or wherever. I mean, it's not just a State Theater insurance issue, it's a insurance issue for us as the board.
I did we just do the State Theater? Did I just miss that part?
Not yet.
Or you guys, okay, we're not there yet, okay.
We're just getting there. After Holiday Lights. So we need to set up a committee for Holiday Lights for 24, 25. Virgil and I did a lot. Richard and I and Virgil did a lot last year. Certainly, speaking for myself, I'm expecting to be a part of it. But it's always great to have some organization to it. Especially the celebration part. So I'd like to, if you're up for that, to turn that part over to you with
Holiday lights,
the holiday celebration part of,
celebration part? Okay,
so that we can get some people to volunteer with you. So it's not just,
when you say the holiday part, you're talking about the library part?
Yeah.
Where the speakers and all of that?
Yeah.
Okay.
music,
I'm about to go in your person. son.
music. I have the contact information I can share with you for Mr. Cook. I don't know if you already have it, but I can share that. He's the contact for the schools for music.
Oh,
And,
for the band team.
right,
Cook,
and
okay.
then I can also, put you already are a trustee, so you know who to talk to over there.
Okay.
But we probably need to nail all that down and figure out how much we want to spend on the reception and where we'll get that money. We do have, just for everyone's information, we did receive a $1,500 grant from the Bering Community Foundation, and we used part of that this year, and the rest of it is available for next year. So about $750 is left for the reception and whatever else for Holiday Lights we want to put it towards or need to put it towards.
And when do we do the actual lights along Main Street? What time, what month is that?
Well, they try to start in late November so that they're up.
Because, I mean, I know we're on a record, but it is what it is. You know, I'm the coach for, the success coach.
Yeah.
Michigan, they didn't get the grant. So September 30th is the last day. So,
Wait. Last day of youth build? Altogether?
Wow.
they didn't get the grant for this. So there, it would be a process where Greg is gonna speak to you and things of that nature in regards to, because Greg could always just help. I know he would anyway.
I know, but we have,
But, so, and I didn't know how much, I mean, because it's public knowledge, but, you know, I'm always
no,
verbal.
it's not
so
public
I'm not
knowledge.
sure. It is, the grant, who gets it and who didn't. is
Yeah,
public.
but I mean, as far as
And so they're
distributing the
trying to-
information.
They're gonna figure out how they're going to, it literally hasn't even been a week, so,
Okay, so we have our equipment there.
right, all of that. So
So
I just
we'll-
wanted to,
Thanks for the heads up.
Right, put a
And
pin in it.
We were talking before you came about getting that payment
Mm-hmm.
to Youth Build, so I hope that will be of some use.
Our 3,000 might keep you going.
Well, I'm not gonna keep anybody
Stop.
going,
Nope.
but hopefully maybe we'll continue to buy some
You- and
space
you
to
guys are-
store this stuff.
And jobs for the people that won't have one, September 30th.
Are you-
So in any case,
Are you pursuing alternate funding potentials for that? Because I think
don't
good
pursue
is done there. That's not your job, I know.
no, and so it would always be another year or whatever. I don't really want to get into it if they, on our, and I really wanted him to, I was hoping that when you came in, it was kind of mentioned.
Well,
Yeah.
I came in a whirlwind with
I
a
don't even
different
know.
subject. But, yeah, I mean,
that-
everybody's talking about job training, and that is what that does, and
We have other
wow.
programs for that. Michigan Works has
All right.
that do more, that actually has
They'll
more
handle it.
funding than we have.
worries.
So, yeah.
Yep.
I just wanted, since we were talking about holiday lights, and I don't want us to be planning for that, and it's not may or may not necessarily be the case. But that is, and then they're figuring out how to really relay that to the different community partners, because that is something Greg has brought up as to how are we gonna do that. So it should be and so more, it's beyond our pay grade to communicate that, so.
Well, thanks for the heads up.
Yeah, you might just say, keep it,
The-
since they don't have a budget to use it.
Well, it's been used for special projects for the kids. I mean, they used it to build out the bathrooms so they would have comfortable facilities, and for things for the students. It's not part of their regular
A
budget.
lot of things that are not in the budget, right.
So, I feel like we promised that we need to give it. But
We
then,
do, we do. I mean,
Right.
that's our obligation to
Yeah.
do that.
but I hope then there's somebody who will make use of it, but.
And then that's something that, like I said, just wait for Greg to communicate that, because I feel like we're talking about Michigan Works and Connexus at this point. So let's just table it, I guess, for more of it, because all the extra, because who knows what, or if anything they have planned to close out things to even the end of the year. That's not nothing I'll be readily accessible to.
Right.
So you will get communication. I mean, this is a professional company, so.
Well, and they own the building, I believe. It's not just that they're occupying space, someone
They are.
else's
So
space,
can we move on?
because our stuff is in it. So,
Okay, can we,
yeah.
next,
So when we hear from them, we'll figure out what we're doing
Yeah.
next.
Yeah.
Thank you.
because no, someone else owns the building. and
Oh.
the building across the alley. But that's another all of that is not, it's not on the agenda.
No,
Okay. Let me see the agenda too, by the way. Put it back down.
we got plenty of other things to talk about. But that we really did need that information. Thank you. State Theater update. So, I've talked to Virgil, talked to Richard. We really need to move forward with Whiteman. Because Whiteman has the experience, they have the capacity here in Benton Harbor, and they know the building because they've already worked on this building to some degree. So I'd like to move forward with that proposal.
There really aren't other options. It's,
If there's no option, then at least we tried. That was my only thing. Let's
So I
just
did,
try.
and I did talk with Pearson,
Oh, yeah, he didn't never.
but Pearson would work with Whiteman. They are not going to do what Whiteman is doing. They would pick it up from where Whiteman leaves off. And they're interested in talking with us about that. But again, until we have the feasibility and assessment done, we really can't do anything. And we have, and I cannot divulge who, we have in June a visit coming from a potential donor who could actually pay for the entire thing if he chooses.
What you mean you can't divulge? You mean online?
I'm not going to tell you who it is.
not on the agenda.
It's not on the
But
agenda.
you quizzed me on something that
No,
wasn't
no, I
on the
cannot
agenda.
tell you at all because it's not been decided. What has been discussed is that we need to have concrete information for this person.
Oh, He
to
wants to be
make a dec-
anonymous. He
Right,
wants to be
right.
anonymous.
To make a decision whether he would be willing
Willing to go
to
that.
step up. But this is a person who would be a great ally of ours, who could write the check to do the entire project if it is feasible and makes sense. So
Or he would need Whiteman's.
But he needs,
assessment.
right, he needs that information from us to know that we're serious, that we have a project that could actually be done, and that would be feasible to live beyond the reconstruction of the building, that we would have something to put his name on, perhaps, but if not, something for him to invest as a legacy to the
Let's
community.
take a vote.
I think that assessment is needed for any funding that we might be
Yeah.
seeking. Someone ought to know what it
We
is.
should always try to get multiple.
Yeah, that's me.
Every day, we're not going forward, we're going backward in this one, and it just seems like it would be another year to get maybe another
I
option.
think we should just move forward.
Because Richard, you've reached out to different brands.
Yeah, there's a lot of
You've been working on this
potential,
for-
but like everybody's busy, or that's too small, or it's just not a just right project for people.
Right.
And then people haven't gotten back, and
Right.
it was Avmarch Pearson. Okay, and so long as we just have that documented, like, on record, and how long we've been talking about this.
We had, when the Whiteman bid or offer was a 30-day offer, which was about 6 months ago now. So we
Well,
need to hope that they'll continue to honor that.
right, and they, after our meeting where we decided we wanted to try to gather more information, and I did contact them and let them know that we were going through this process, and that we would be in touch that, we weren't saying no, we weren't closing the door, but we weren't saying yes. So, if you're comfortable with making a motion, I would like to get a motion to ask them to examine the quote, make sure that it's still feasible at that price, or give us whatever the price might be, so that we can come back and vote yes or no on that.
Yeah, I think, again, the schedule is important, moving it forward is important. We don't want to wait for perhaps there's another business, but I think we're just going to delay and lose potential opportunities. So we gave adequate time, I think, to have other people look at it or provide quotes. If they're already familiar with the building, they've worked on it, that's a huge advantage. I think it makes sense to move forward with something.
Okay?
Yeah,
I'll make a motion. I'll make a motion to proceed.
You're supporting? Okay. All right. Any more, the motion is to ask them to update the quote and to move forward if it's the same price.
Yeah, I would just say the board agreed to the price.
Yeah,
that
the
we
board agreed to the price.
Okay?
Yeah.
All right.
If we have to go back,
Don't give
make
them
it
the
sound like if you have to go back and
Fluctuate,
it may be another few more months, because this is a lot of, they're getting good money.
Yeah, in the interest of time, can we proceed?
Yeah.
We
Yes.
don't need to revote if we are basing it on the previous.
We-
The
we agreed
previous,
to the original-
exactly.
Original proposal.
Right.
Original proposal.
Original proposal.
Okay, so any other,
You need a vote?
all in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion, we are all unanimous, so there is no opposition. Okay, motion carries. And this is exciting.
It is exciting.
This is exciting. Some movement, other than Richard and,
And Richard, we really appreciate all your,
Efforts.
all your efforts, all your work.
you should have
All the
been there on the day of
We have time for that.
the windows went in.
We do have time for that, because we do. And we appreciate it, though.
So,
Sometimes if you want to do something, you just got to do something. You can't
Yeah. Richard does a lot of
just
something all the
plan, you
time.
can't continuously plan or nothing will get done.
so thank you all for that, and let's make this success and something happen here. Ad hoc bylaws committee, we did not meet. We do need to talk about couple of board members.
What'd you put my name in?
We have board member positions that are open. We have two people who have expressed interest. Seth Haley being one of them, if you'll see in your agenda. But we need to, you and I perhaps,
About the bylaws?
follow up on, well, the bylaws committee, according to the bylaws, is supposed to keep a list of people who are qualified and interested in serving on the board. So we have two who are interested, we have three positions open, so we need to find another candidate who is qualified, is interested, so that we can make a recommendation to the city commission, to the mayor and city commission. So, Seth Haley is one, and Seth Haley,
Just think about it.
he owns Dwellers Co-working,
And Trevor?
and Trevor Carlson, whom you've met, who's the Prairie Development property manager. So Trevor,
Is that a conflict of interest?
no, not at all. Owns,
You know
he's-
the
Have to
question's
be
gonna
an
happen.
owner.
he operates a business downtown.
We just know, the commission, we talking about the city, oh,
Right, our interest, according to the state law and the city's ordinance, is to have,
like 'em.
is to have business owners. So yes, there are times if we were, you know, perhaps if we were trying to rent more space at a market rate, you know, or negotiating in some ways, that person would need to step out.
right, and just be ready to explain that.
Right, explain the conflict,
all.
and then he would not
That'll
be
be a
part of
question.
our
Oh, that's
negotiations.
good, that's really good,
Yeah, and it would be the same with Seth, so,
okay.
You mean from Prairie Realtor?
Yeah, we went our welcome center and Trevor is the project manager for that.
Yeah, okay.
So it might be some other situations that occurred that
just
may be
have to
similar
step
where
out.
he'd have to step away and not vote if he was part of the board.
Peter's not over there?
Peter hire Trevor, and Trevor runs the,
You run into-
He
okay.
manages
right,
it.
Peter is
Do favors.
I just
running an
know about-
empire.
I just know Peter. so-
Yeah.
Oh,
Yep.
no, you know the one he always sitting there.
Yeah, I
How
know
many-
he's
How many open
already in
spots do
there.
we
but-
have?
3. So we need, it'd be nice to get another resident, downtown
Really
resident.
nice.
I think that would really be a good addition, somebody who has an interest in what's happening in their neighborhood since they live right here. So if you can think of anybody,
Live on Main Street?
email
Downtown resident.
anywhere downtown.
Downtown,
Ben
Main Street?
Harbor. Ben Harbor's.
In the
City
district,
area.
in the district. So from Pawpaw to Riverview, from Market to the railroad. That's our district.
I'm
So,
just trying to make,
so that's the new apartments. I don't know if there are any people who've been there a while. That's Richard's neighborhood.
yeah,
It's Virgil's neighborhood.
oh, so it goes to River Terrace
Market
area,
does not go to River Terrace.
just on that street, that is Market Street, I'm bad with streets.
Yeah.
So, okay, Market Street, okay, that's Market Street.
So,
I'll say real quick, interest of time, I do have to get to a 1 o'clock. So if there's anything else to vote on.
no, I think that's it. I think that we're pretty much where we need to be. And then,
I just think we need to keep pushing this insurance issue. And I know if Alex was here to talk his little update, that we would probably question him about it, but we question him now about the check. But that insurance thing is a big thing. It's going to be big for us.
yes,
It's already big for us. I want to feel secure.
especially as we move forward with getting people in there to do work. So, yeah,
Contractors probably would insure themselves going in to do work, whatever, they would probably have their own.
well, and that's our business to make sure that we make sure they do. And that was in our proposal, so we do have that. But yes, you're right. So unless there's something else any of you want to bring up to talk about today, any announcements you have about things going on?
I just have a few things, not particularly announcements, although one might qualify as that. Arts Park, Judy's Park, Nicole's Park. Nicole Moon passed away about a week ago. That's reason to mourn and also celebrate her life. That park is a voluntary project these days. You know, we have lots of things that we try to volunteer for. We can't do everything, but if we know people that have interest, volunteers are welcome. There's a head gardener who's, you know, doesn't want a zoo there, but is trying to do a good thing, and she may be working today.
Do we know her name?
Diane Iannelli.
Diane Iannelli? Oh, okay.
And she's paid. Judy Jones' obituary had basically contributions to the DDA for the specific purpose of maintaining that park. The funds are not enough to maintain it in perpetuity, but there's something for her to work with, so she's being paid a nominal amount, a way discount from her normal gardener rate. Anyway, so she's there. The water, maybe the city has turned it on today. They didn't do it yesterday, but I think they might have today. It's a beautiful space that I don't visit enough, but I have been lately. And I've been volunteering with Ken Inkley and Diane and a couple others. Tim Flynn for a moment there. This is just my list. It's not on the agenda, obviously, but city business is my title here. Parade litter boxes, which gets into the social district maintenance. There's still parade boxes out from the parade weekend, which is not that far behind us. But sometimes the front end loader goes through town and all the boxes go in the bin and it goes away. Last year, there was one box in particular that stayed there to the point where it fell apart and the contents eventually spread. There's maybe 6 or 7 boxes still out. I'll hope to, I will send a note to city manager to please, and I have actually already on that. Grass messes, the city is maybe doing some mowing and they're doing a very kind of mediocre job, so please, I'll ask. Orange bins that are being used and maybe being talked about at social district. If we could figure out a bin corral rather than just having them randomly everywhere, which they kind of have been in city center and other parks. I've just buzzed through this. Roundabout mowing. They haven't been mowed yet this year, or maybe one has, but we spent a lot of money on mowing. Maybe they should become wildflower zones. Because if they're mowed, they're scalped because so many people have driven right through them that it's a nightmare. So I promote wildflowers. Light poles. There's a box on the light pole at 5th and Main that I removed it after 2 months of it just sitting there all broken in pieces because nobody else did. I informed public safety that I did that, and you know, I don't know what the program is for follow-up on accidents, but I hope to learn that sometime. Even collecting damages, which I have been told directly the city pursues with in accident situations. I'm not aware of actual results on that. Standing dead trees remain, blah, blah, blah. I'm curious, maybe Planning Commission, but I'll just mention it. The pavered, sort of beautiful pavers on Wall Street, around the corner of Wall Street. I wonder if they're going to remain or be maintained or upgraded there or just disappear like has happened in many other places. I promote preserving pavered streets whenever possible. Code enforcement, Kaz has been doing a lot to publicize his effort to sort of crack down, educate first because he doesn't want to penalize, but sooner or later you kind of got to do that because history shows because. So there's a lot of new yellow tags out. There's a new pink tag system, 2 different categories. If you haven't seen it, it's on the city public safety website, educational pieces they're trying to put there to wake people up and then get people to respond. Dispensaries seem to be notoriously sort of non-maintainers. Some do, some don't. I don't want to categorize them into one group, but sort of dragging behind. Roxy parking lot seems to be a parking lot for a dispensary.
Yes.
And it doesn't get maintenance, you know, all that stuff. Kaz has asked, report what you see and you don't like. And he'll get his people on it. He wants to know. So, report. And if you need his email address, it's on the city website, or I can give it. Litter bins at all the stores. Convenience stores need to have a bin. I hope it's part of our ordinance system, but if they don't, then what does that lead to? Obviously, litter. I've put effort into the entry, welcome to the city from the west. There's a nice sign there, beautiful sign. It was put up 15, 20, 40 years ago, whatever, late 80s, I think. And it's just been, it was landscaped by Nature's Way. Pretty nice, just sort of whatever happens there. It's been grasses lately. I put in bulbs this spring.
Good job, I was gonna say
I
that.
got a woman who said, what can I do for the city? And I said, well, I'll help. Flowers.
From the bridge?
Yeah, yeah.
From
There's,
the bridge into the city?
yeah.
It does.
One
Go.
other thing, Sunday, the 19th, we said at our last meeting
Cleanup.
that we would do, clean up the planters
June?
next week, this weekend, Sunday. We said we would clean up the planters on that day at our meeting.
I wasn't sure if I was
I
going
want
to
to pay
be here.
attention to it. That's what I'm trying to identify
So,
where.
so if that doesn't work, then I need to know it isn't gonna work, so I don't go there on Sunday. But 2 to 4 was what we were talking about, just a couple hours to try to make sure that, we can pull out some weeds, pick up some trash around it.
Remember that, but I know I'll be out of town.
Okay, so then let's I'll send out a message. We need to figure out a time that will
On my
work for
calendar
people.
already.
Who's going? Who all was complaining to go?
Whoever was at the meeting, we talked about a date that would
No,
work.
it was us.
Time,
It was
probably.
just us.
Yeah, Linda, you were,
On my calendar, I mean,
I
I mean,
saved it. I know I said I
something
wasn't
doesn't
super
happen,
sure, but
I mean,
well, it's only a couple hours, so if you could,
if I don't know if I'm being in
Did you
town.
mention it to Amby? Because she worked with us last year.
Feel free to do it anytime.
yeah, I'll ask her. Yeah.
Richard, you want to get with Garrick? Garrick has I forget who they're working with, but it's like 100 of them that want to do something in like the downtown area. Garrick, Dow Center. So, and they wanted to do it sooner than later, like, so this first part of June, it's the 100 of them. They have their own equipment. So if you want to get with Garrick and ask him and see about facilitating some things to do, they were talking about this is just at our meeting yesterday.
that's at the Dow Center?
No, it's Garrick is from the Out Center.
He's the new
It's,
communications.
they don't have 100 people. It's I forget whatever entity it was. It was something similar to like Trevor, right? Some contract, and they have 100. It's something similar to that, where a relationship that they have, but they don't need 100 people to do anything, so they were looking into something for downtown. So if you wanted to see, and they need to do it sooner than later, so.
Well, yeah, cleaning up the parking
if
lot
you can-
behind the Out Center, working on the trees along the streets here.
Yeah.
The weeds under there and just picking up trash.
It was like this first part of June.
That would be great.
So I didn't, he was just mentioning it, it wasn't really an agenda thing, so we didn't talk about it very long, but I told him I would mention it.
Do you need some help down at your area? I know Market, that island in the boulevard always,
Well, they do what Jack was just over there cutting it the other day, so I mean.
so they weren't taking care of it. So it
They
doesn't
do
need
take
any-
care of that. The only thing that I'm concerned about is the lot that I was telling you that Cornerstone used to maintain, and they're not doing it now. Maybe some reason, I'll check with them, though, find out.
100 volunteers.
I sent you
So,
a
yeah,
photo
I
from
mean,
yesterday.
That was something to get with Garrick.
Put that into shape along with a couple other
Our,
spots.
our,
I think.
our
mean, I can-
homeowners are taking care of their own properties. so.
No, not but that common space, I know sometimes gets out of hand, so I
Yeah,
thought,
equipment
Tim
and
Flynn
and I
part of
asked
that,
Mike,
or-
what equipment
Yeah.
do they have? But he didn't readily say, because I was like, are they gonna do weed whacking? What all would that include? I mean, if you want, I can, speak to him about it, but I didn't know, because I couldn't remember. I know Trevor's date is after the 4th, or before the 4th. What date did he choose as to when they were gonna do theirs? But it's before that, obviously. So I didn't know, and I didn't want us to miss out on this opportunity where it's us few folks trying to do something and he has 100.
right. So, yeah, so just contact them at
Okay,
some.
so I'll circle back with that.
Have them call me, if you want to be a part of that conversation, let's,
Well, I don't need to, but I mean,
Okay.
if you just want to,
yeah, I can certainly point them into a couple places that,
I don't know if we need to pick dates, if it wants to be like a collaboration with the DDA and to make it more of a collaboration, and it is a few of us present, but I don't.
well, it might be to their benefit also because of some of the city stuff that gets in the way of that sometimes. So I'm willing, if you all are willing to say, okay, it'll be a project that we work on together,
It wouldn't make sense for them to come clean up the downtown without talking to us about cleaning
well,
up the
and
downtown,
then we
right?
can do some of the things that we can't take on by ourselves. You know,
We
so-
could make circles and arrows on places, pictures, and, come and get it. I noticed, I guess yesterday, Resiliency Plaza has a garden area, and we all know that, but it's weeded and stuff. It needs to be
Well, that'll be,
tended to.
that's part of what we're paying somebody to do at the library, so we won't.
Oh, thank you for that.
So that one we don't have to worry about,
Great.
but there are other places,
Oh, there's
as
plenty.
you are well aware of, so including probably
Plenty.
the east end
Yeah, no.
downtown.
I delittered most of that. There's still the next wave, but basically it's, the next wave. We need attention in everywhere. I think the entry points make a whole lot of sense.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then pick up the middle.
If you just give me the map, I mean, I know you know about spaces and places and then what kind of, that way, because maybe they're even buying tools. So like kind of
roundabouts could be
tools they
done.
would need and things like that.
The roundabouts could be mowed, and
Well, if we decide to mow, but maybe
we got to mow it for now, don't we?
it's
And
not
then we got-
necessarily,
Well, and then-
whatever.
and then
Think
it's-
about, plan, think, do. It was a little book that I read.
To have them
Okay.
use
You
people.
need
I
to come
think
to some
since
city
we lost our
meetings.
quorum, we can
You need to
turn
come to
off
some city
whatever
meetings.
All
media
right.
we've got going
Bring it
on.
up
Thank
then.
you.
That's like a whole 2 hours of our days, our night, 2, 3 hours.
Official
But-
meeting is